Salute to SaleABration. I'm happy that I'm here with you again doing a YouTube video featuring some more free SaleABration items before they retire. So the stamps that we're going to use today is actually a $100 set. And I don't know that people really realize how awesome this set is. They're like, why would this one be $100 when most of the items in the catalog are a $50 item? Well, it's because A Touch of Ink is this stamp set, and it's shown on page 12 of your SaleABration catalog. It is a photopolymer set that has 17 stamps in it, and they aren't this size. These are actually much smaller, and the catalog obviously shows them this way, actually much smaller than they appear when you see them. Okay, they're much larger. So the butterfly, for example, is this stamp, and the picture makes it look much smaller. Okay, so they are large stamps, and that is the reason why it's a $100 freebie. So what that means is if you spend $100, you get to pick this as your free item. There's also I should mention that there's also a hostess set in the back of the SaleABration catalog that's Punch Party. And that stamp set is only available if you host a party, and it can be your own party. Okay, Punch Party, and it is actually available free if you have a $300 party, which is not hard to do. Okay, so if you are interested, there's still time because this catalog is current until February 28th. Okay, today is only the 24th, so we could still get an order in for you. We could have this delivered right to your house, and no matter the weather, no matter what, you can get this Stampin' Up. It has been awesome through the whole virus and everything. I actually have had people so thrilled to have something to do when we were in lockdown and through the snowstorm and everything. This was something that you could do in your home by yourself or with maybe a friend or two. But if you're interested in that, just let me know. Okay, we can set up a hostess code. We can make it really easy. Okay, let's get started today. I have a lot to show you. Okay, so we're going to use A Touch of Ink, and we're also going to use the paper that we used yesterday, and that one's called Flower and Field Designer Series paper, and that was if you saw the video yesterday, that was a $50 item. Totally. I think it's totally valuable. The value in that is amazing. So let's get started, and I will talk through this. I'm going to do some embossing today. I'm going to use water painter, so I'm going to do a lot of products. So let's get started. Okay, so we have a piece of white cardstock. We've used this a lot through this video, the Salute to SaleABration. I've used a lot of white cardstock bases. And the reason is because it's just so easy. So this is the thick cardstock, and it makes amazing card bases. Okay. Now what I want to do is show you some different colors than we used yesterday. So this is the paper, and this is cut 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to put this on our card, just like that. Okay. And give it a interesting background. Okay, instead of just a piece of designer series paper, we're actually doing something that's a little bit different. So we're making strips. I designed these cards on a sketch, and then I am making the video. So I haven't made this card before, believe it or not. This is the first time that I've made this card, but I have it all sketched out and in my head. Isn't that darling? So this paper, you can see how it coordinates. So that's cherry cobbler, petal pink, black. It's just so cute. We're going to set that aside. So the next thing we're going to do is, this is our Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And you get, how many sheets? You get a lot. You get 10 sheets. And they are 4 by 6, I believe. No, they are bigger than that, 5 by 7. So these are 5 by 7. So that is cool because if you want to make a card, you can cut this in half and you can make that work. Okay, but I just have a small piece here. And this is what I'm going to stamp on today, and I'm going to emboss it, and then I'm going to color it in. So the stamp that I'm going to use 2 different stamps. I'm going to use the butterfly. Now this is a 2-step stamp. So the butterfly has the inside. The leaves have an inside, the flower inside, the hummingbird inside. So you can use them that way, but I'm not going to use them that way today. I'm just going to use the outline design. It has all these cute sayings too, and this little leaf and a little background. So cute. So we're going to use the butterfly. Okay, and I'm going to stamp that in Versamark. Okay, so do you have a Versamark pad? This pad has been around for a long time. Available for a long time, and mine's been around a long time, as you can see. I just keep re-inking it. So you buy a re-inker, and you re-ink it. It's a real sticky ink. So when you re-ink it, you're going to get like little drops, and you just want to smear that into the foam pad. I do store this upside down in my cabinet because I want the ink to settle to the top. So I do recommend storing this upside down. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp the butterfly right over here. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see it. Okay. Can't really see it yet, but wait till you see how cute it turns out. Then I'm going to go ahead and stamp some flowers. And I want to stamp one down here. And I want to stamp one over here. Okay. Now I'm going to take close that up. I'm going to take my black embossing powder. And this has been around forever also. If you have embossing powder, you probably know how long these pots last. And I'm going to sprinkle this on all over and let it fall right into the coffee filter. Can you see now the design? Isn't that so cute? So you want to go ahead and hit the back. Give it a little blow so that it gets all the extra embossing powder off. Take this, pour it right back into your pot. Okay, the pots are smaller than this now. They're about half this size, to be honest. This has been around such a long time. Okay, and then I'm going to take my heat gun. So the heat gun is an awesome tool. It has 2 settings. It has a low and a high. The low is really intended for, like if you're working with vellum or you just want to dry something, like maybe ink for real quickly. And then the high is to do embossing. So let's put on high. It's kind of loud. Okay, ready? Oh, it's not plugged in. Oh, that's funny. Let me turn it off. Okay, I'm going to plug it in, and that will actually make it work. I'm like, oh no. Okay, so you want to hold it on there until you see the embossing powder get shiny. When it gets shiny, then you move. Okay, takes a couple seconds for it to heat up. And it is on watercolor paper, so it's going to take a little bit longer. There it goes. All right, so I don't know if you can see it. Starts to get a glossy look. And the heat guns are hot, very hot, so you want to be careful. This isn't something that you want to let a young child do on their own. There is this protective plastic over the tip, which is totally helpful. The old days, the tip was exposed, and I actually burnt myself one time with it. I didn't get that very good right there, but I think it'll be okay. This is taking longer because it is watercolor paper. You do want to move when you see it's glossy because you don't want your paper to burn. Watercolor paper is probably not going to burn, but cardstock would. Finish getting that. Almost done. Okay, I think it's done. All right. Now you let that cool for a second. Put a little embossing powder on the floor. Okay, so there it is. Not looking too exciting just yet, and you want to clean your stamps because that sticky ink will really stick to your stamps if you don't clean it pretty quickly. So I always recommend cleaning your stamps really well right away. Get all that Versamark ink off of your stamps. So another technique you can do is use StazOn. StazOn black or brown would work, but they don't recommend that for photopolymer stamps. So yes, red, see it's still a little sticky. So red rubber, yes, you could use StazOn. I don't recommend, and Stampin' Up doesn't, there, that's better. Stampin' Up doesn't recommend StazOn ink on photopolymer stamps because it will break down. That's a solvent ink, and it will break down the, will actually break down the plastic. So this isn't really rubber, this is plastic. It'll break it down also when you use the StazOn cleaner. That might break it down also. So they don't really recommend it for these stamps, so I don't use it on mine. Just saying. Okay, now what I'm going to do is use 4 different stamp pads. I'm going to use Bumblebee. I'm going to use Just Jade. I'm going to use Petal Pink. And I'm going to use Cherry Cobbler. I'm going to move my card so I don't get ink on it. Okay. Now what I want to do is take my water painter. So this, these are refillable. And oh, that's nice and full. Okay, that's cool. And you want to pick up the ink. It's amazing. It's like a little piece of artwork. And just color with it. So you can go lighter. You want to get a little water going, you can go a little lighter. And since this is watercolor paper, it's pretty forgiving. And I love that. I guess this is a leaf. I think this is a leaf. So since this is embossed, it actually will really hold gives you some place to work. I mean, it's not going to go outside the embossing, which is cool. Okay, then when you're done with that color, just want to clean it like this until it comes back clear. Okay, now I'm going to use Petal Pink, and I'm going to come back and color in some flowers. And you can see that you can kind of shade with it. Before we had blends, and this was our go-to for any kind of artsy coloring you wanted to do. But now we have the blends, and a lot of people just migrate towards those. I honestly still love this method of coloring, especially since we have this awesome watercolor paper. You can do this on, I should mention, you can watercolor like this on our basic white cardstock, but it's not as forgiving because, okay, I'm going to pick up a little darker pink. I'm sorry, this is Cherry Cobbler. So I'm going to shade a little bit with Cherry Cobbler. It just is not as forgiving. It won't let you move things around like this will, like watercolor paper does. Okay, so give it a try. I mean, everything has a learning curve, right? The first time you do it, you might think, ugh, that's the worst. I didn't like that. Well, put it away and get it out again some other day. Now I'm going to clean this off, and then I'm going to kind of blend this a little more. And because this is watercolor paper, I can do that. And what's cool, they just fill up. I mean, this little top comes off, and it actually comes 3 in a pack. So there's a little bit bigger one, and then there's the brush, which is really cool. Okay, so I'm liking this. I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to clean that off, and I'm going to go to Bumblebee, and I'm going to do my butterfly. Ooh, dark. Very dark, Trevis. It's okay. And are you a scrapbooker? Because I'm a scrapbooker too. And I think butterflies are so cool on scrapbook pages. And this butterfly, amazing. Okay, I'm not going to use a whole lot more colors. This coordinates really well with the paper I chose. So I'm going to stop there. Ta-da! That's it. So if you wanted to bring in other colors, you could. If you wanted to, you know, kind of do a shading background, you could certainly do that. There's lots of other colors that coordinate with this paper. I'm going to leave Cherry Cobbler open for a minute because I'm going to use the saying from this set, Thinking of You. And I'm going to use it, and look how little it looks. And it is not that small. It's bigger. So I'm going to use that in Cherry Cobbler. I'm just going to stamp this in Cherry Cobbler. So reds and pinks and things like that will stain your photopolymer stamps. So there's not a whole lot you can do about it. Even if you clean them quickly, they still stain. Doesn't affect the use of them, so don't let that freak you out. But I'm just warning you that photopolymer stamps will stain, and especially when you use reds and pinks and dark colors like that. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to, remember the punch I used? I think I used it on day 1. It's this one, Story Label. I'm going to use this. Shut this one. Ever stick your hand in your pad? And I do. And I'm going to punch this out, Thinking of You. Now, that looks good, but it's so big. So big. So I'm just going to cut it down. I'll show you a little trick. Sometimes you can alter your punches. And this is one that I'm going to alter. Okay, so I made it much smaller. I still like the shape of it. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this. Just 2. I think that's good. And I'm excited now because I get to assemble my card. Okay, so I have a little piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to mount that just to give this a very tiny edge. Very tiny edge. I don't want to distract from anything with that. Let's put this aqua paint, this water painter away. I don't want to distract from the card, but I do want to have just that little tiny black edge. Okay. Yowza. Loving it. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit extra adhesive on here. I'm using my seal. I'm going to put a little bit of extra on here because I can. And then I'm going to put my saying on. Thinking of You. See, that big thing wouldn't have fit. This fits. I'm going to put it right here. Thinking of You. How is that? So cute. Now, I think this card needs a matching envelope. So, since I have extra of this paper, I am going to go ahead and make a matching envelope. And the way that you do that is you just take your Designer Series paper It has to be big enough. Take your scissors, not the ones that you're using to keep as your ribbon scissors. Take your snips, not this. So if you want to keep a special pair of snips just for ribbon, just put tie a little ribbon onto the handle. And then you'll know, oh, don't want to use those for anything but ribbon. So how cute is that? All right. So we have the card and the matching envelope. And I hope you enjoyed this technique. And I will see you tomorrow for day 7 of Salute to SaleABration. If you would like to share this video and then put in the comments that you shared it, I will be doing a drawing on, let's see, it would be Friday. I will be doing a drawing on Friday for someone to get some cool product. So please share my video and happy Wednesday. Talk to you later. Bye.